Hey YouTube, Coppersan here. We're back on the MapleStory Korea test client to get a closer look at the new Khali class. I was not able to get this class to level 200 though due to the test server closing and me going to jail for not speaking Korean good enough, but at least we were able to get her close to level 190, so these will just be the first impressions. Khali is part of the Flora classes like Arc, Adele and Ilium. Her Link skill at level 2 increases damage by 5% and allows you to recover 10% of your HP and MP over 5 seconds every 30 seconds. Her Legion effect increases flat luck. In this video I'm going to be playing in the burning world without any burning active though. Khali plays a bit like a dual blader who has unlimited dashes. She has a new weapon called Chakram and uses a secondary. She can use her Void Rush skill to dash. This dash has a 5-second cooldown and is not affected by cooldown reduction. Instead, if you use your main mobbing attacks, you can lower the cooldown of the skill by 1 second every time you hit an enemy with that attack. You can also only use your dash left or right in the first jump advancement. She also has an up jump, but she cannot double jump after the up jump. She can use a Void Rush after it though. First jump was pretty chill, but in second jump things are picking up. Your rush skill gets boosted by the skill Insanity 1. This skill allows you to rush twice in a row. You'll be in dark side after you rush, and you can rush in 8 different directions. And you'll do damage as well if you use the skill, turning your mobility into a deadly tool of destruction. Dashing in boss fights is dangerous though, so it's nice that she actually is in dark side after every dash. She does not have a manual dark side skill by the way. We're also getting a bit of a blaster vibe in the mix here. You can use your jump skill to cancel a dash, similar to how blasters can cancel their bobbing and weaving by jumping. Besides those skills, she also gets 2 new attacks, Dual Edge, which is your normal mobbing attack, and Crescentum. That skill can only be used if you link it together with Void Rush. After using a rush, you can then use Crescentum. The direction of the attack also changes depending on the direction that you dashed in. You don't have to link it right away, by the way. There's a bit of wiggle room there, or maybe that's just my 200 ping. Being able to dash twice in a row and in different directions is pretty cool and feels amazing early on. The mobility is really out of this world. I was having a ton of fun with this class already. This class has a few skills to use, but it isn't really complicated when you're grinding. Cancelling dashes only becomes a thing if you're bossing. When you're grinding, you're just flying around all over the place, using your skills to defeat monsters. Only downside of this class is that you have to actively use the booster skill. You have to use boosters, not a passive. Man, what is this, 2019? But anyway, so far so good. But it is time for things to get a bit more complex with the third job advancement. You now get your first Hex skill. The Hex Chakram Sweep throws a giant chakram and forces you to jump backwards. You might have already noticed that skills either have a V, an A or an H symbol. This is because those skills affect one another. A skills lower the cooldown of the V skills, and H skills, those Hex skills, can be used together with V skills to summon Chakri, after reaching the third job advancement and learning the summon Chakri skill. These last for 30 seconds and there can be up to a total of 6 on the map at the same time. If you use any A or H skill and cancel that with a dash skill, that's your V skills, you do the same thing again to activate nearby Chakri to damage nearby monsters. Also, if you use a V skill on a boss, there is a 30% chance to summon a Chakri as well. The Chakri bounces up to 3 times, deal quite a bit of damage and are a core part of your damage when you're bossing. So in short, you just use your A and H skills, your arts or Hex skills, and then use any dash to summon Chakri and then use them again and do the same thing again to activate them. It's quite natural because you'll be using all your skills anyway. In third job, you also get a new regular mobbing attack, a final attack that activates after like half a second, that's a little explosion that's happening there, and another toggle skill that increases the range of a Void Rush. You also learn Insanity 2, increasing the damage of Void Rush, and you can rush even more now, but there is a limit to how much you can dash in like one direction. As an example of what grinding is starting to look like, I use Void Rush twice, then I use Chakram Sweep, then I rush again to summon Chakri or activate the ones that are already summoned, and then I use the second job Crescentum after my final dash. That skill's damage, by the way, also gets boosted by a third job passive and a fourth job passive later as well. You'll be using most of your mobbing attacks that you learn, like Crescentum and Chakram Sweep when grinding, even at higher levels. It's more work than some of the other classes, but it's also really fun in my opinion. I did notice though that after playing for a few hours, my hands did kinda get tired from dashing and using all those skills. Reaching level 101, we can go get a sneak peek of the newer events that will be starting in MapleStory Korea. But besides a nice event that rewards the choo-choo set and a temporary vac pad, the rewards from this event seem to be pretty much the same as the current Ignition event. Even the stores are basically exactly the same except for a few cosmetic changes, which is still nice but not super exciting. Also, not sure if I missed it, but I couldn't find any attack or skill that helps you with grinding like with Ignition. Maybe that's still gonna be added, or I just missed it, or it's not there. Don't know where that one went. Forge Up boosts the damage of most of your attacks. You'll get a new mobbing skill and even more hex skills. Chakram Split is an amazing skill. It's a wide range attacks and the Chakram come back as well to deal even more damage on the way back. You can combine it with your Void Rush skill to get even more Chakri to pop out. It does a lot of damage and made grinding a lot easier, by far my favorite Forge Up skill. You also learn another Void skill, Void Blitz. You can use the skill as is, you'll also enter Dark Side after using it, and it can be used to summon Chakri. But you can also right click it to have it activate automatically if you use Void Rush without using any arrow keys. So you get one less skill to put on your keyboard if you use it like that. Oh, and in case you didn't notice, you can dash even more now. Just going all around the map super fast while attacking is really fun. And if you're strong enough, it will be super cool if you can actually one-shot with that skill. You'll grind so fast, I feel like. I do wonder though where MapleStory goes from here. We got a bit of mobility creep going on here. How fast will the next class even be if this is already where we are right now? Khali also gets an invincibility frame skill. Every 75 seconds you can become invincible for 3 seconds, but you cannot use any attacks or skills during those 3 seconds. One of her 5th job skills also makes her invincible for 5 seconds, so she does have some safety there with her dark side. She does not have her own bind though. Her hyper skills are pretty sweet as well. At level 140 you learn the Oblivion buff. This skill resets the cooldown of any skill marked by an H, so your hex skills, and reduces the cooldowns of those skills by 50% while the buff is active. And it also increases the final damage of all Void and Hex skills. It will last for 30 seconds and has a 180 second cooldown. And Khali also gets her own summon hyper skill, Death Blossom. This level 160 hyper skill summons a rose made of sand that attacks nearby enemies and creates Chakri around its location. It lasts for 30 seconds and only has a 90 second cooldown. The skill makes grinding even easier, not that it already was pretty easy to begin with her insane mobility. Unfortunately though, shortly after reaching level 187, I was put in jail for not speaking Korean good enough and failing a CAPTCHA. The test server ended before I could get out, so yeah, I guess we're stuck there forever now. Khali will officially release in MapleStory Korea in January, and MapleStory Global and MapleStory C will get this class in the next summer update. If you want to see the 5th job skills or bossing with this class, X3D Aaron has some higher level footage of this class on his channel already, or you can read up on the class over at Orange Mushroom Blog. And that was all for today. What do you think of this class? Let me know in the comments. I'll be playing it even more once it is fully released in January. Thank you so much for watching and for subscribing. And as always, many thanks to our members for making these videos possible. Special thanks to Niels de Coninck, Raar maar waar, Sebastian Hanoy, Ryalias, Terry Kim, Vareese, Kaudimora, Lee, Historycanon, BackSpaceOTI, Saffronyx, Ziggy Deer, Flidiot, Knifesu, Cloudfix, Gussus Rodriguez, Digby, Vira, Trevor, Michael Menchaca, Ratius, Justin Vale, Silvio Nato, Afterlord_MS, Striker Elk, Tidal 1 Pun, Radical Jaws, Riser RU, Sir Tito 655, Mathias Simonsson, PC Game Life, The Passenger, Martin Panzik, Conrad Crystallis, Ace Light, Mr. Narc, Ben Wolf, Max Bernhardt, Muka 1017, BNB King, Scotty Flies Fast, Priscilla, Brennan Cam, Vake Botnet, Fekko, Victor Sundstrom, ceemak, Only, Rashid Alarudi, Gerlando Balavia, Gianfranco Calderon Canavero, Lucky Beats, Matthew Def, Gummy Bullet, Lord Fazil, Spats D. Kaiser, Zunnen, That Archie Guy, Grogo, Grable Egg, and Louis Bento Brandau. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and as always, happy mapling.